for joining me. As you saw the title, why do we sabotage ourselves? Why is it that so many of us think we're not worthy? I struggle with this. I've come to the realization that I have had a lot of opportunities in my life that I have not taken advantage of. I would like to say that I am brave, but am I really brave? Have I constantly put myself in position to get the outcomes that I want? Did I rise to the occasion all the time? I relocated myself from my island nation of Bermuda to come to Scotland to find peace, peace of mind, something that my island really and truly has never offered me. Bermuda is a beautiful place, it truly is. But the judgment of others is something that I constantly felt back home. My family back home is a outskirts family. Bermuda is a very cliquish population. If people don't like you, if people don't like certain members of your family, they can make your life quite difficult. People like to judge people, and that judgment of others is what holds us back. So I have removed myself physically from Bermuda to Scotland, but have I let go of the mental reach that those people back home think of my family? And how has that impacted me as an adult? I'm realizing that my self confidence has been wounded. Like I said, I've always seen myself as a brave individual, but now I have an opportunity. I have an opportunity to tell my story. I have an opportunity to reveal my gifts and talents. But yet I find myself stalling. I'm supposed to be launching my business of spiritual products, but I'm holding myself back. Why? What in my shadow work have I not focused on? And I've answered it. I don't feel worthy because of what other people think about my family. But I know it's through my wordness. Bear with the accent. It's through my wordness, right? Don't mind my hurt. It's through the wordness that I have gotten my gifts. My family back home, and I'm talking about my dad's family, they cannot adjust. Forgive the camera. They cannot adjust. They don't, especially the man. The man cannot work 9 to 5s. The man do not have high energy levels. The man usually get caught up in other things. Recreational drugs and alcoholism on my daddy's side is prevalent, right? These men are also charismatic. They're quite funny, right? My daddy had good work ethic. He knew to get himself elevated, he would have to do it himself. I believe I got well, let me not say my work ethic, but when I work towards the things that I want out of life, I am active. I can activate that. But I know it's certain gifts within my daddy's lineage that just cannot adjust. This ability they have to see the fuckery, sorry, YouTube, to see the malarkey in this waking world. And them not being able to fit in because they refuse to play the game or they do not understand the game. It's funny how so called crazy people actually are quite enlightened. I could tell you this because I work psychiatrics. And when you have conversations with someone that is on a psychiatric high, the conversation usually moves quite rapid. The conversation is usually quite direct. And when it comes to this person has the ability to see through you. This means whatever you did not want to discuss, this person can bring it out of you. I'll give you a story. I worked on a geriatric psychiatric ward, right? This client, this man, he wasn't a man. It was the laundry man came to pick up some stuff. And he was fine. Oh my God, he was fine. And this client sat there, watched this man say hello to me and me say hello to the man. And you know, from that, she knew that I had gave this man some crutch. She knew I gave this man some crutch. How did she know that, you lot? How she knew that? Because the only thing I said was hello. And he said hello and went for his job. This woman knew I gave this man some gooders. And I just could not believe it. How did she know it? How did I find out she knew it? Because one day she was telling me off. She was mad at me for not giving her chips. And she said, that's why you're up here giving the laundryman some crutch. I said, oh, who you talking about? Because I ain't having sex with nobody that works here. She described this guy, and I was like, oh, damn. Why did I ask? Because once she said it, I knew who she was talking about. I said, oh, go what? You're just talking, girl. Stop that. I know you are. The ability these people have to read you. I'm sorry about that. But these people's ability to read you is something that I have never experienced before, other than dealing with my family. The man in my family, like that ability. Wow, like here I am trying to lie and she just read me. So you'll find like a lot of spiritual people cannot make adjustments to fit into this factory type work that we are living in, right? We're coming out of that, right? So people that are spiritually inclined are going to start to excel because we're looking for alternative ways of life. We're working towards alternative lifestyle. No longer will we be forced into a traditional 9 to 5. This 9 to 5 life and this educational setup has really been damaging to spiritually inclined people. And spiritually inclined people also deal with a lot of feminine energy. And one thing about feminine energy, and I'm not talking about putting on a dress and ooh, sitting pretty, not that feminine energy, not the presentation of what feminine energy is supposed to look like, but the actual feminine energy. What am I talking about? Feminine energy, not completely, but a version of femininity that they would like to suppress is chaos. Chaos is the divine feminine. Chaos is change. Chaos is uprooting. Chaos is dynamic and phenomenal and cannot be contained. This is ADHD. This is dyslexia. This is autism. This is athletics to a certain extent. But that ability to see an alternative outcome, that not being able to be controlled and contained. And we look at what this educational system has done, especially to our boys. It has restricted them, it has limited their movements. And I know you're probably saying, well, why is she talking about feminine aspects being chaos but she's talking about boys? In us all, we have the ability, we have masculine and feminine energy. Now, this is going to be a shocker, but the truth is, man like routine, man like surety, man finds happiness in that, right? It's usually the woman that likes something different, right? And I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I am saying if we're going to play it in relation, male and female, this is it. Let's take a look at your Bible story. What did Eve do to land us out of the garden? She wanted that fruit. She wanted to see, right? Let's look at it even before that. The division that took place. Now, I don't believe this story to be true, but I do believe that we should not look at it literally. I believe it to be true to a certain extent. Don't look at it literally. Like, let's look at it esoterically. Let's look at it from above. So, what does this look like? You have a man, you have a creature that you have created who you separate this creature. So now this man is looking outside of himself at the divinity that he did not see in himself. Now he wants to serve. Now he wants to protect, right? Where am I fucking going with this? I even just fucking forgot. But he wants to protect, he wants to hold, he wants to suffocate, right? He cannot see in her chaos the beauty any longer that was within him. It has been removed. And because of this patriarchal religions that we have all been indoctrinated in, this is why the feminine aspects of ourselves, both within male and female, have been suppressed. This chaos, and we have been constantly fed this docile feminine, right? This is an aspect of femininity, the docile feminine. But women, okay, feminine, divine feminine is more chaotic than what people would like actually to believe. She is dynamic, like I said. So my family up west, even though it is a large group of men, they are quite chaotic feminine, divine feminine energy. These lot have great spiritual abilities, but like I said, they usually cannot organize themselves to get the outcomes that they want. For my father, he had to remove himself from his family, his siblings, to get this outcome. He had to watch how others function in this world to get the outcomes that he wanted. But he could not shake that name. He was unable to shake that name. What's that name? Codrington. His father came from Barbados. That's how the name got up there. There's only one group of Codringtons in Bermuda, and they don't have the best reputation. Now I'm discussing this, and I hope my family, if they do ever see this, please don't get offended. But I'm just gonna tell my story, and fortunately, unfortunately for you, we're all connected. So, this time in Scotland has given me the time of silence to learn my gifts and to look back on my family and see our wounds. And like I said, Bermuda, it's cultish. They have a couple of cults operating under the sign, the word church, but they're really cults. Like, I'm sorry. And how others' interpretations of us hold us back. I'm not the only one that has experienced this. I'm not the only person from my island that still is living abroad, but carries the wound of being a social outcast. So I have products, I have messages, I have abilities that I want to share, but I'm holding myself back because of what others have told me I am worth. So, how do I relieve myself of these ideas that I am not worthy, that I am not good enough, how do I move forward? How do I stand and be my greatest version? How do I start my shadow work for specifically this? It's something that I know I'm struggling with, and I know a lot of other people are struggling with, and not even having to be Bermudian. But how do we shake others' opinions of us, especially people from small towns? How do we shake that? When do we step into our bravery? When do we reveal ourselves of who we are and our true worth? It's usually easier said than done. Some people think just getting yourself into another environment is what you need to get this outcome. But is it just that? Is it just that simple? What about the psychological wounds that not only you carry, but your parents carried? Because epigenetics is real. How do we reveal these? How do we relieve ourselves of these thought patterns? If you want to know more about me and my life, if you want to know more about my business, which I will have up and running shortly, please head over to Night Rider Cafe on Spotify or any other major podcast platforms where I'll be discussing this a little bit more in depth. I have already discussed my battles with confidence in previous episodes. Please head over to my website, Aquarii 88. I'll have it linked in the description. Thank you for joining me while I vent